Today I'm going to show you one winning ad creative format for Meta that will generate you millions of dollars in sales. How do I know that? Because I have made this exact creative that has generated millions of dollars, pounds worth in sales for D2C brands. Before we get started, if you're new here, my name is Fraser. I run an ad creative agency that serves D2C brands here in the UK, and we work with brands worldwide. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, click the like button before you even watch the video, and let's delve into what I think is a actual ad creative that can completely change your business. Before we jump into it, I want to show you what the ad creative actually looks like as a finished product, so you know before we actually look into it. So this is one that we made for a CPG brand called Betweener. Next up, I want to show you this one that we made for Chomps. This one's a little bit different because we used archive material. So it wasn't stuff that we shot like the last example. Instead, this is just like standard archive images, which we just grabbed from their Dropbox and we made into a video. But again, it's still the same framework that I'm going to teach you right now. So what is this actually made of? Well, when we break it down, it's made of a few things. Number one is social proof. Number two is some clever copy. And finally, number three is a beautiful image or video. The reason we have all these bits and pieces is because number one, social proof, because we want to prove that we are a legitimate brand that people know and people love. Clever copy, because we want to entice people. We want to potentially target people with our copy. And then finally, a beautiful image or video, because well, we need to show the product in some way, don't we? If you can incorporate something interesting that you're doing with your product within that video or image, even better. Essentially what we're doing here is we're making an elevated static. That's kind of what we call it here at Fraggle, is an elevated static, because it's basically built on the same principles as a static. However, it's moving, so it's elevated. They also go by GIFs, micro ads, motion graphic ads. There's a ton of different names, but they all go by the same standard. So the first one I want to focus on here is the one that probably is going to take the most work, and that's the clever copy. So we can use our reviews and we can use our comments in order to get this information, because we want to make sure that our copy is not only clever, but is also built around the customer. So I just hopped onto my Facebook feed and I saw these guys called Lift Down. It's a cap brand, and I just went into their comments and I just grabbed some of the stuff that people were saying. So this one really caught my eye. Bravo! 'Tis rare these days to find an unbranded cap. Dear near impossible in any retail store. Good work, Lift Down. What a cool review. And this other one I saw, perfect. No one will ever know that I'm bald. And the reason that I love those two is because the first one, just the way that they're saying it is just really funny. And I think the next one, a lot of people wear caps because they're bald or they're going bald. It speaks to a real problem that males have and why they wear caps. Trust me, I'm one of them. The main thing that we want to do here with the copy is these are probably going to sit at the bottom middle of the funnel. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to write copy that will entice people back and remind them that we're here. Think about you're in a crowded shop and you're waving, going, "Hey, I'm still over here, remember me?" So I wrote this: unbranded caps to cover that bald spot. It wrote itself. It came from the reviews that we spoke about earlier. So unbranded, that seems to be one of the main things that they're pushing all the time and people talk about in the comments. And then the next one is no one will ever know I'm bald. It's an actual problem that males have all the time. So unbranded caps to cover that bald spot. Perfect. If I say so myself, that is a perfect piece of copy. Now let's head on to the next bit. Now, this is my favorite part because this is what I do for a living, but a beautiful image or video. There's a few things to remember here. We need to keep the image as simple as we can do while still showing the product off the best we can do. Now, there's a few ways to go about this. Number one is to shoot new content. So like the Betweener example that I showed you, that was all shot in our studio. The other way that we can do this is by using archive video or images. So have a look in what you already have, your product images, all that stuff, and see what you could potentially use. There's plenty of ways within motion graphics that you can tweak things and add things in order to make an image work and look like a video. So maybe potentially have your design guided by what you actually have. Obviously, if you have more budget, you can go and shoot something custom. If you don't, then you need to use archive material. For this example, I have used archive material because I don't work with these guys and I don't have access to their product or their assets. So I headed over to their website and I wanted to see what kind of images they use that I could potentially grab. And I noticed the brand is really all about keeping things super simple. You go on their website and things are really like bare bones. And the product images on their site are even just the cap on white. Like, that's it, nothing fancy at all. So what I was thinking is we could play on, you know, the cap being unbranded while also showing that it's, you know, super simple and bare bones. So my idea was, and I came up with this all myself, was to use like a 360 like spin of the cap. There's a few ways that you can go about this. The first one is by literally taking a ton of images of your product and like adding them all together like a stop motion, or you could literally dangle a piece of string, spin the cap and film it. So there's a few ways we can go about this. Let's not get bogged down in that. This is the idea. So the idea is I want the cap kind of floating in the middle of nowhere and I want it spinning. That's the idea. And the reason I've done this is because it shows off the unbrandedness of the cap, also showing how simple it is, shows all the stitching, all that kind of stuff. I think this is like the perfect idea. So let's go back to the three things we need. Beautiful image or video, we've got that, nailed it. Clever copy, we've nailed that as well. Now what about social proof? Now social proof, basically what we want to do here, there's a few ways we can go about it. We can have the whole ad center around social proof and we can star one of their reviews at the top like the Betweener example that I showed you. Or we can just keep something really easy, just, you know, to kind of remind people that you are real and that people use this all the time. That's what I've gone for in this one. I had a look on their website. They had like 2,500 5-star reviews. So I've grabbed that, over 2,000 5-star reviews. That's it. That's the social proof. You don't need to overthink it. It's just important that we have some social proof in there because we want people to feel like, you know, have confidence in us before they press purchase. Now, when we put all that together, what does the actual ad creative look like? Are you ready for this? Because I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty impressed with this because I literally built this within Miro with like no Photoshop, Canva, nothing like that. Ta-da! This is the advert. Unbranded caps to cover that bald spot. We have the image of the cap, which obviously will be rotating in the actual one. And then we have 5 stars, 2,000 plus 5-star reviews. Boom. And then the logo at the top. Look how simple that is. And I can assure you this will work because it will capture people's attention. The reason it will capture people's attention, because we have a 360 spinning hat that's bringing people in. People are going to see the bald spot because, you know, people's eyes are going to see what they're interested in. They're going to see the bald spot. They're going to look at it and go, hey, that's really clever. Oh, I've seen these guys before. Click, boom, sale, happy days. And that is how I have generated millions of pounds worth of sales with these ads. The majority of our clients have these ads because they are so damn powerful. And they're only becoming more popular because viewing habits are changing. People's attention spans are down, which means that people are just looking for a quick little look at something, which is why most people just watch the hook of ads and then they're out of there once they've decided if they're interested or not. I want you to go and try this and I want you to leave a comment once you have tried it and telling me how it went for you. If you want a quick and easy way to make static ads, then make sure you have a look at Creative OS down there. You can even use those templates to generate these elevated static ads as well. So have a look down there and I'll see you in the next video.